How you like me now? I'm here to expose the lies, the schemes, yeah, the power that froze. I'm breaking chains, no silence allowed. Speaking for the people, I'm making you proud. From the streets to the suites, I've been in the fight. Shining through the dark, bringing truth to light. Leadership in action, and the time is ours. Rodney's on the mic, speaking truth to power. Speak on it now, let the truth unfold. Speak on it now, gotta break the mold. From the pain to the purpose, let the voices tower. Rodney W. Collins, speaking truth to power. I've seen the struggle, I've felt the strain, but silence in the face of wrong is the real pain. It's more than a fight, it's the courage to stand and build a better world with this strength of our hands. Leaders and liars, we're calling them out. For the ones without a voice, we're ending the doubt. Every word I speak, every action I take, it's about the truth and justice, no room for fake. Speak on it now, let your voice ignite. Speak on it now, stand up, take flight. From the ground to the towers, let the movement flower. Rodney W. Collins, speaking truth to power. Stand tall, speak loud, let the world take note. Power to the people, every word I quote. This is your moment, the time is here. Rodney's on the mic, making change crystal clear. Speak on it now, time to break the chains. Speak on it now, let the truth remain. From the silence to the spotlight, let the voices shower. Rodney W. Collins is speaking truth to power. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome. I am Rodney W. Collins, and this is the Speak On It show. First and foremost, giving honor to the God who allows me to come at you in this manner on a weekly basis. Hopefully everybody had a good week. How's everybody doing out there? We're in the middle of fall. I mean, we starting fall. Getting a little chilly in some places and everything, but it is what it is. We're broadcasting live this morning on the Rodney W. Collins channel on YouTube and Facebook. You can like, share, subscribe on the Rodney W. Collins channel. We're broadcasting the Speak On This show live every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. I can never remember the Central Time and Standard, Mountain Time and none of that kind of stuff. But 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Tune in every Saturday morning. You can also go back and watch the shows after the fact on YouTube and Facebook as well. If they're not deleting them from Facebook, you can always find them on YouTube, the Rodney W. Collins channel. So I hope everybody's had a good week. Got a lot going on. We're going to get into that here shortly. Brian Hoodie, my brother, good morning. Appreciate you. We got a lot to talk about this morning. And last week, let me just start off with this. Last week, I was, as I said, pro-black, but not anti-white. This week, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit because I want some of the things I'm going to talk about today are dealing directly with my white friends as far as where they stand and what they see and what they hear and what they doing. Just to be real. So I'm going to get into that a little bit later in some of the conversation in the straight talk aspect and what's going on in the world. But what I want to start off with this morning is something that I've talked about many, many times on this show. And that's this here, the check-in. We're in the beginning of October, the last quarter, for you people that deal with quarters in the year and everything, but we're in the last quarter of 2025. We're beginning October, and I want to re-engage the importance of the check-in. And this check-in is for us to be reaching out to people that we haven't heard from, people that maybe you may see them putting posts on Facebook and you wonder what they're going through. And this is for you to reach out to them to make sure that they're okay. Make sure that everything is all right with them. And then a lot of people, I'm going to just put it out there, a lot of people have said to me, they're like, man, you're always talking about the check-in, but what about people checking on you? Or what about people checking on me? It's not about that. If people feel they need to check on you, those phone calls will come. But it should not stop you from checking in on other folk. Just because nobody's checking on you doesn't mean you don't need to check on other folk. I think we get this mindset that, phones work both ways. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I joke with people all the time. I joke with my mom about that. I'm like, your phone working? I ain't heard from you. Ain't nobody called me. I just want to make sure the home phone and the cell phone working, just jokingly. But it's a lot of times we're so caught up in who's not reaching us that we hesitate to reach them. So I want to encourage you to reach out to other folks. It's beginning of October, last quarter of the year. We know a lot of people have gone through some things this year. A lot of people are looking forward to December 31st. A lot of people looking forward to December 31st to celebrate bringing in a new year, because this year in their minds and in what they've gone through has been a bad year. But we still need to check on them in October. We don't need to wait until the end of the year and say, hey, it's a new year. Hopefully everything works out for you next year and all that. No, we need to be checking in. And I know many times on here I've said, just send a text message. If they respond, they respond. If they don't, they don't. No. In this season that we're in right now, call them. They don't pick up, call them again. You don't have to call them same day, but keep calling. Keep calling, because eventually they'll pick up. Because we never know what somebody struggles, what they're struggling with, what they're going through, or what they may be dealing with at the time where they don't answer the call. But that should not prevent us from picking up the phone and giving a call. We find time for what we want to find time for. We find time for what we want to find time for. Find time to reach out and check in on your people. If you say you love these people, you say you care about these people, check in on these people. Check in on people. That's what I wanted to start off with this morning, just to get us started this morning. Kevin Banks, good morning, my brother. Good morning. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Also, I wanted to touch on this real quick. I mentioned last week, in my opinion, that Hakeem Jeffries is not the man for the moment in the position he's holding as the minority Speaker of the House. Some people took offense. It is what it is. That's my opinion. I haven't seen him where he has shown me that he's ready for this moment that the Democrats are in, as far as to make change or whatever they're trying to do. And we'll get into the government shutdown in a few minutes. But I wanted to bring this up because this book, The Man, the Moment Demands, I'm trying to get it so you can see it. The Man, the Moment Demands by Jason Wilson. Being it's October, being weather's changing, maybe it's time for us to start reading. The Man, the Moment Demands. The Man, the Moment Demands, and it says, master the characteristics of a comprehensive man. And ladies, don't fret. I'm going to have something for you as well. Don't fret. But in this book, and I want to touch on this because I think, people hear me talking about a book and they don't know exactly what it's about. So I'm going to give you a little insight now. There's part 1, part 2, and part 3. And what it breaks down to is the dynamic characteristics, the deeper characteristics, and the devotion characteristics. And this is where it breaks down. The fighter, in the dynamic characteristics, it breaks down as the fighter, the provider, the leader. The deeper characteristics are the lover, the nurturer, the gentleman, and the friend. The devotion characteristics break down as the husband, the father, the son. I would suggest, or recommend, I would recommend that you go pick this up. I found it on Amazon, but you can find it in the bookstore. The Man, the Moment Demands, Jason Wilson. If you don't know who Jason Wilson is, you can pull him up, look at it, find out who he is, get a little background on him. But this book, I think, would be something that at this time and in this season, when we're all trying to find our way and trying to find out what we can do to help out, to be involved, The Man, the Moment Demands is the book that I'm going to recommend each and every one out there go get. The Man, the Moment Demands. Master the characteristics, of the comprehensive man. Pick it up. Believe me, you won't be upset. Pick it up. Good read. All right, we're going to get into this. Let's go ahead and break it down and let's get into the news. Let's go. The news in the news in the news. And with Alan, my brother. Good morning, big bro. Good morning, big bro. Appreciate you. So in the news, we all heard, we've all seen, it really hasn't been a big thing now because there's been so many federal government employees that have been laid off and not working, or they got the retirement buyout or whatever. But the government is shut down. Excuse me, y'all. Camera's on. There we go. The government shut down. But this is not your normal everyday government shutdown to me, from what I'm seeing, what I'm reading. But I want to, before we get into this, the reason I say it's not your regular government shutdown is because of this. Let me just go here for a minute. Let's go here for a minute. This is the website for HUD. This is the message that HUD and this administration has chosen to put on their website to show that the government is shut down. The radical left in Congress shut down the government. HUD will use available resources to help Americans in need. That's HUD. Now let's go to this one. This is Department of Treasury. And it says about the same thing up top. Let me see if I can blow it up so y'all can see a little better. Yeah, it's not, probably can't really see it, but it breaks down the same thing. The radical left has chosen to shut down the United States government and so on and so on and so forth, basically. And then this is the Small Business Association, which has the same announcement. Senate Democrats voted to block a clean federal funding bill, so on and so on and so on. This is why I say this is not a normal government shutdown. Because there's a lot of finger pointing involved this time, per se. And it really makes you wonder, what are we doing? What's going on? How is this happening? So this is the second shutdown under the Trump administration with Republican Congress. He owns the Congress. He's got the White House, he's got the Senate, and he's got the House of Representatives. So he has all three branches, and they still chose to shut it down. What is it? What? But I want to play this one. I really want to play this one. Give me a minute. This one here, I want you to hear. This was a message. This is a message on the answering service for the Small Business Administration. And like I said, you can't make this stuff up.
Thank you for calling the U.S. Small Business Administration's answer desk. Please listen carefully to the following message. Senate Democrats voted to block a clean federal funding bill, H.R. 5371, leading to a government shutdown that is preventing the U.S. Small Business Administration from serving America's 36 million small businesses. Every day that Senate Democrats continue opposing a clean funding bill, they are stopping an estimated 320 small businesses from accessing $170 million in SBA guaranteed funding. As a result of the shutdown, we wanted to notify you that many of our services supporting small businesses are currently unavailable. The agency is executing its lapse plan.
I'm going to stop it right there. But that is the Small Business Administration answering service when you call the number there. And they have this long drawn out thing about why the government is shut down because of Democrats not signing this bill for a continuing resolution. So let's get into this real quick, because this like I said, this is not ordinary. This is not normal. This is not normal in the United States of America. And the GOP blames government shutdown on health care for undocumented people. The Republicans, the GOP, blames the government shutdown on health care for undocumented people. And what they're saying is the White House and congressional Republicans say that Democratic lawmakers caused the federal government shutdown as part of an effort to extend health care benefits to undocumented immigrants. However, as several independent experts interviewed by NPR note, that claim is false. At the center of the standoff is the Trump administration's Working Families Tax Cut Act, also known as President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, signed into law in July. Democrats say it amounts to tax breaks for billionaires and pays for them with deep Medicaid cuts. The White House insists the law protects taxpayers by preventing undocumented immigrants from getting government health benefits. But such individuals are already barred from Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare exchanges, as they say. It's a complete distortion, says Leighton Q, the director of George Washington University Center for Health Policy Research. It is simply wrong in the details. So anyone here, and I want the people in the cheap seats to hear this. There is nobody, no undocumented immigrants are afforded Medicare, Obama, or Affordable Care Act. They're not afforded that. And we need to get rid of this narrative out here that people keep spewing and keep bringing up, that these people are getting benefits that they're not authorized, and the Democrats are doing this. No, they're not authorized. They've never been authorized. But this talking point that they are, and now they try to hold the Democrats responsible for this shutdown, which both parties play a part. Let's just be real. Both parties play a part. But the main focus I want you to concentrate on is the House of Representatives and the Senate are both Republican majorities. The White House has a Republican president. And we have another government shutdown. And when I mentioned that this is the third shutdown under a Trump administration. But this is the second one where he controls the Congress. So these tax cuts for the rich and wealthy that they're trying to put into play in this big, beautiful bill, while they want to try to get this continuing resolution, the Democrats finally said, pass it on your own. But they can't, because they don't have the votes. They don't have the votes. So because they don't have the votes, they didn't make any accommodations for what the Democrats wanted in this bill to get this continuing resolution. So now what we have is a government shutdown. So who's at fault? Now, I'm going to tell you like this right now. I'm speaking facts on this from what I know and what I've read. At this point in my life, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. So I want everybody out there that listens to this show to understand I'm an independent right now. I'm an independent thinker. I'm in the middle of the road. Now, you may hear me sway more towards the Democratic side than I do the Republican side, because there's more tangible things that I understand on the Democratic side than I do on the Republican side, because on the Republican side, what they call conservative side, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. Now, when you talk about monetary and things like that, the greed is the part that I don't agree with. The funding and all this putting us in debt, the trillions and trillions of dollars they keep adding to the national debt. Those things I don't agree with. Being conservative with our money, yes, but this Republican Party is not the conservative party that we once knew. Now, when we talk about the Democratic Party, the Democrat, they say, are liberal, they're more open, they're more free and everything. But this Democratic Party is not the Democratic Party we remember from before, because they don't stand on business when it comes to stand on business. They're not fighting back in the way we think they should fight back. So at this point in my life, I'm middle road. I'm independent. And I think a lot of us are in our own ways. Even when we go to the polls, we're a lot more independent than we are Republican or Democrat. Now, let me just clear this up. I'm not speaking, when I talk about the Republican side and the conservative side or anything, I'm not speaking for those ones that y'all got those names for. I ain't speaking for them. Because when you are a person of color and you continue to side with a side that could give a damn about you because of your skin tone, when you see the effects it's having on the people that look like you because they're considered Democrats, and because you consider yourself a Republican and feel like the things they're doing as Republicans don't affect you because you're a black Republican, you about to get a wake-up call. You are about to get that wake-up call that I don't use too often. I'm going to call it the Negro wake-up call. You're about to get it. Because there's no way you can tell me, and I want to make this clear. I don't judge anyone for the things that they may believe or they want to follow. But I do have a problem when you decide to follow things that you know are affecting people that look like you. And because you don't know those people, you don't care. That's where I have a problem. When you come out of your mouth, as we talked last week, and say there is no racism in America, but you know it is because you've dealt with it before, but because of the party that you sit under, you trumpet these lies in order to fit in, when if you're in that party, you should be more about standing out to show that in spite of the fact that you're a Republican, you still stand by the fact that there's racism, that DEI was not a bad thing, that affirmative action was a great thing, and slavery was indeed a bad thing in this country. But you're silent. You're silent. So when we talk about these black Republicans, that's a whole different conversation, because they've lost touch not only with what they should be standing on, they've lost touch of everything that their ancestors fought for them to be able to sit and have a choice to be either a Democrat or a Republican and to be a member of that congressional party that they choose to sit with. That's where my problem comes in when we talk about the Democrats. And now, let me clear something up now. I'm not saying that everybody on the Democratic side is good either. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. There are some things on the Democratic side that we can talk about that ain't on the up and up either. They just ain't saying it out loud. You know, and when people talk about, well, we've been on a Democratic plantation too long and all this, come on, y'all. Come on. You are minimizing the impact of what slavery did to our ancestors when you start talking about being on a Democratic plantation because of the way you vote. Stop. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. There is nothing that we've dealt with to this point. Now, let me clear it up because it looks like some things are going to change. But there's nothing that we in my generation have dealt with to this point that can be equal to or worse than anything that our ancestors went through, to include our parents and our grandparents. I'm not going to go all the way back, slaves. Just talk about our parents and our grandparents. It's not that long ago. It's not that long ago. So stop saying we've been on the Democratic plantation too long. Let that go. Just say that the Democratic Party that you thought you were a part of is not the same party that it was when you first joined. That's it. Doing these comparisons to a plantation that you ain't never been on, doing these comparisons with a plantation that you ain't never had to work on, fingers to the bone. Stop. Stop. We need to get better with this verbiage we use. And I understand everybody's upset. And I understand you want to have a talking point and a starting point. That's not the good point. It's not the good point. April Wheaton, good morning, my brother. My sister. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, April Wheaton, my sister. I appreciate you. Robert Osborne, amen, brother. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Michelle Sumrall, hey, good morning. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Raymond Hunter, my brother, good morning. We have not passed the federal budget since 1996, so if we just keep kicking the can with continuing resolutions, we actually live in the status quo. Yeah, and that's the issue. And I've said this before, and other people have said it, but I'm going to reiterate it again. If you and your household have not had a budget since 1996, what kind of lifestyle are you living right now? If you haven't worked and abided by a budget, budgeting what you pay, what you need to pay, how you're going to pay, the debt that you're in, if you haven't done a budget since 1996 in your household, what kind of lifestyle are you having? What are you dealing with living paycheck to paycheck, not knowing exactly what's going to go on when you're just out here spending all frivolously? Yeah. But I want to transition for a minute off of this shutdown. I want to talk about the fiasco at Quantico the other day. I want to, as a veteran, I think I can speak on this. I can speak. I ain't a general. Never was. I wasn't at the top rank of the enlisted force. I was senior CO, but I wasn't senior. You know what I'm saying? But I want to say this because the person that sits in the office and this person they want to call the Secretary of War are a disgrace to the positions that they hold. Turn up your volume. Turn up your volume if you need to. Zoom in, because I'm going to say it again. the person that currently sits in the Oval Office and the person that they changed the title to be the Secretary of War, Secretary of the Department of War, are a disgrace to the positions that they hold. Mark it down, write it down, do what you got to do at me. I don't care. I'm telling you from a veteran standpoint who knows the protocols, the steps, all the different things that I've dealt with in my career that deals with the upper echelon and how protocol is supposed to happen. The traditional aspects of what happens when you have these people in a room and in your presence who have earned the stars that they wear on their shoulders. These two are a disgrace to the positions that they currently hold. There is no way anybody can tell me any differently. Because anybody who's ever served knows that we seen the other day was a dog and pony show. To basically tell those generals, and I didn't watch the whole speech. I've seen bits and pieces because I said I'm not going to watch this because it's not worth my time. But I'll say this, from the bits and pieces that I did see, the sound bites here and there, and somebody will say, well, if you didn't watch the whole thing, there's a lot of things you'll take out of context. Here we go again with the context. Say I didn't take anything out of context. What was I to get from that speech? Let me tell you what I got from the speech. You can clap if you want to. You can do whatever you want to. You can get up and leave if you choose to. But no, you just ended your career. Those are not words that you would hear from a president of the United States under normal circumstances. To threaten a room full of generals that volunteered to serve this country honorably, to uphold and defend the Constitution, not the president, not the office, not the Secretary of War, not the office, but the Constitution of the United States. And in there it does say, we'll follow the rules and, and the guidance of the officers appointed over me. Neither one of them are officers. Let's be real. But to tell these generals in that meeting, after you flew them from all around the world, where they got to come in here and sit there in their dress blues and in the auditorium, cramped up, to be told, you can do whatever you want. You can get up if you want, leave. You can leave. But no, you just ended your career. For the Secretary of War to come out and tell them, we're no more beardos. When he's talking about the beard shaving waivers and things like that. We're not going to be fat anymore. We're not going to be this. We're not going to be that. These generals are the epitome of the standards. Now, when I say that, understand, we all, after a certain age, because most of these generals have been serving 30, 40 years. But at a certain point, you're going to gain some weight. You may not be this felt, in shape looking person that you used to at that point. But the mind, the processes, passing the tests that you need to pass, still there. But if you're going to chastise these generals for how they look, look to your right at the person that you introduced and tell me that he fits the description of what we should see in the White House. Just a question. Just a question. I'm surprised that he would stand up there and say that, knowing that the man that he works for looks like he looks. But I digress. Let me move on. Let me move on. A dangerous shot is out of North Carolina. Trump's Justice Department threatens to investigate North Carolina County if reparations for Black citizens are passed. The Department of Justice has officially warned municipal leaders in the North Carolina County that its office will be forced to investigate if the county awards reparation to descendants of enslaved people. Officials in Buncombe County and the city of Asheville have spent the last 3 years considering what reparations would benefit Black communities disproportionately impacted by systemic patterns of displacement, economic exclusion, and criminalization since forming the Community Reparations Commission in 2022. After drafting this final recommendation report, the commission presented it to the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners on September 2nd. And in 2 days later, in swept the DOJ. 2 days later, the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ penned a letter to the board titled Unlawful Race-Based Discrimination, expressing concerns that the reparations recommendations would violate federal civil rights laws if they were adopted. To the extent these recommendations are formally adopted, you are now on notice that my office stands ready to investigate and enforce violations of federal civil rights laws to the fullest extent possible. And this is a letter from Harmet Dilan, Assistant Attorney General to the DOJ's Civil Rights Division. The 39 policy recommendations listed in the Community Reparations Commission report address 5 focus areas: criminal justice, education, housing, economic development, and health and wellness. The report lists examples of these recommendations like establishing a Black wealth building fund, creating community land trusts, expanding access to culturally responsive healthcare, reimagining school curricula to reflect Black history, and transforming public safety systems. Do y'all see anything wrong with those things? Let me read them again in case you didn't hear everything I said. Black Wealth Building Fund, creating community land trusts, expanding access to cultural responsive healthcare, reimagining school curricula to reflect Black history, and transforming public safety systems. D-Line warned that these recommendations might violate the Fair Housing Act Title VI, Title VII, and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. News of the Justice Department's letter drew numerous reactions and comments on social media. Now, I want you to hear what some of these people had to say. Some people debated the necessity of DOJ intervention, and others argued about the legality of reparations. Seems like the decision should be with the county. What's with the federal overreach? City of Asheville knows it is illegal to use public funds to benefit any particular group of people, one particular race, one particular sexual orientation, one particular political party, etc. They've already been through lawsuits on this, and they choose to spend more time on attorney fees trying to violate federal law. Reparations aren't about giving free money for slavery a long time ago. Asheville's plan is about repairing documented ongoing harm caused by policies right here in our city. Things like housing discrimination, redlining, and systemic disinvestment that created generational wealth gaps, one commenter said. Raymond Hunter, you see, it wasn't just about just slavery, but captivity. We are still captive, and that's why we are never, ever left alone. Raymond Hunter brings up a good point, because these reparations that they want to pass aren't just giving anything out. It's an investment in the communities that have been forgotten or have been overlooked because of the racism. Let's not pretend public money has never been used in this way before. The GI Bill, farm subsidies, and housing loans were taxpayer-funded uplift, but they overwhelmingly went to white families. Reparations are simply saying if government policies created the damage, government resources should help repair it. Author Nakashi Taife, who is the executive director of the Reparation Education Project, said the DOJ's move is hypocritical and accused the department of firing a dangerous shot across the bow of Asheville. The DOJ claims that race-based remedies could violate federal civil rights laws. Let that sink in. A department ostensibly tasked with advancing justice is instead being weaponized to stifle it. And that's the first thing that I seen when I started reading this was the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division is blocking a city, not across the country, a city who does their own budgeting, has their own finances. They are blocking them from putting these things in place. Why? And they're using the things and the laws that were put into place, the amendments, Civil Rights Act verbiage, to block this from happening. But we see things against the Civil Rights Act happen every day, and people are silent. Remember, Hunter, Israel got reparations, the land of the Palestine. Japanese got reparations. Europe got reparations with the Marshall Plan. We helped reindustrialize Japan with the auto industry. And we just gave I want to get the number right. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think we just gave like $250 million to Argentina the other day on the day of the shutdown. I just seen a blurb on it. I didn't get in detail. But yeah, we gave Venezuela, Argentina, one of them, $250 million on the day of the government shutdown from this administration. But we don't have money for reparations. Let me go here. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. James Baldwin. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. Hits home, doesn't it? It hit home for me. I don't know about everybody, but it hit home for me. I can't believe what you tell me because my eyes don't lie. My eyes tell me everything I need to know when you're selling me sugar-coated bullshit. Excuse me, Ma. I know I'm getting a little off today, last couple shows, but bear with me. He's still working on me. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. James Baldwin wrote this back in the 60s. And it is very prevalent today. Which leads me into this next thing, because I want you to keep this in your mind as I go forward. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. This man here, see this guy being escorted by the police? This is the Texas megachurch founder, Robert Morris. He pled guilty to child sex crimes. Robert Morris pleaded guilty in an Oklahoma court on October 2nd to sex crimes against a girl that started in 1982 and continued for years. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I want to go back again. I want to say it again. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. This is supposed to be a pastor of a megachurch. Also, he was on Trump's spiritual advisory board back during the 2016 campaign. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. But he entered a guilty plea to 5 felony counts of lewd or indecent acts to a child in the Osage County courtroom. He will serve 6 months in the Osage County jail and then be on probation for 9 years and 6 months, according to a plea agreement outlined by Oklahoma Attorney General Gettner Drummond in a news release. He also must register as a sex offender and pay $270,000 in restitution to the victim. 6 months. 6 months. And from what this article says, she was 12 years old. I'm sorry. He met her when she was 11. He was 20. He took advantage of her. Let's just call it this. Sexually assaulted her, raped her when she was 12 in her family's house. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. Can we continue? Let's go here. This is something that I think everybody needs to know about. And I want you to listen clearly to this. A professor has told us that Black people need to know about white Christian nationalism and Douglas Wilson, who is on the screen, the man who is the face of the movement. White nationalism, we've talked about on this show many times. But I want us to get out of this mindset that white nationalism only conforms to the Tiki Torch Boys or the KKK. This is what they're looking like now. And I think this guy's supposed to be a pastor. He's the movement's rising leader. There's a form of Christianity that has exploded in popularity among President Trump's MAGA base that poses a clear and present danger to people who are the descendants of slaves. And there's a man who is the current face of this movement that has the ears of high-ranking members of the presidential administration. Not many black folks are talking about it, but we need to. Last week, the National Conservatism Conference, NatCon, was held in Washington, D.C. as a yearly opportunity for thinkers who are dedicated to far-right conservatism to spread their ideas. There is something notable that has been happening at this gathering of late. Every time NatCon has met the past few years, ideas that adhere to this thing called white Christian nationalism keeps being exposed, and black folks absolutely need to pay attention to it. White Christian nationalism is attempting to rewrite the narrative of Jesus, just like they have rewritten the narrative of January 6th, says Dr. Eric Gill, Director of Theological Field Education at Phillips Theological Seminary. And if we aren't careful, we'll begin believing in a Jesus that doesn't care about the sick, the poor, and the immigrant. Let's break this down. This is what the article says. And I got this article from The Root. The writer is Lawrence Ware. And he said, regular Christian nationalism wants to merge Christianity with Americanism. So, for example, if you hear someone say America is a Christian nation, then you are hearing from a person who is flirting with this ideology. Now, white Christian nationalism goes even further. Many who believe in this form of Christianity hold that American slavery was good because it introduced black people to Jesus, which is an absurd notion because there are black people mentioned in the Bible. And surveys show that individuals who attend these kinds of churches hold less favorable views of immigrants and racial minorities, and they are also likely to believe that racism is a problem in America. So hearing these ideas openly expressed at a mainstream public gathering is mad concerning. But there is a white Christian nationalist pastor who has become something of a rock star recently, and you need to know his name. Douglas Wilson feeds and fuels cultural hatred, insinuating that his answers are the only path to salvation. The beliefs he pushes invariably evolve into a righteous takeover of society and an enforced faith rather than a chosen one that is rooted in white male dominance. She's right. This is the person that said this is Dr. Shannon Fleck, the executive director of Faithful America, a Christian organization that is committed to combating these kinds of ideas. In a sermon given at his church in Moscow, Idaho, that should tell you a whole lot too, Moscow, Idaho, Wilson said, and I quote, "All men exhibit the image of God equally, but all cultures are not equal. We have orchestras playing the Brandenburg concertos compared to someone beating on a hollow log with a couple of sticks." He goes on to say that these cultures are different because of the uneven progress of the gospel throughout the world, imploring those listening to his words to spread the truth of the gospel that he implies has been fully revealed to white people. This is age-old racism. What he is outright saying is that certain cultures, white ones, are inherently superior to others. Now, there have always been white churches that were comfortable with white supremacy. What is new about Wilson and the people who think like him is how aggressively they are spreading these ideas. After the 60s, most white churches tried to hide their racism. Now, white Christian nationalists are letting their freaking flag fly. But what's worse is that people like, watch this now, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, the United States Secretary of War, has publicly endorsed Wilson and is a member of one of the pastor's churches. Let me, I don't, them people all the way in the back, I don't think my mic was loud enough. Let me read that part again. I'm sorry. What's worse is that people like Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, new title, has publicly endorsed Wilson and is a member of one of the pastor's churches. We must pay attention to white Christian nationalism in general, and Douglas Wilson in particular. Who knows what kind of crazy policies they will push now that he has friends in high places in the government. Things are bad now for black people, but if these people have their way, they would get significantly worse. Now, I've seen this person before on different things, didn't know who he was, heard the name. But after reading this article, trust me, I'm going to really get to know him. Because I think we all need to be aware of the things that are going on around us that we don't feel are that important, but could come back and bite us in the, you know what, can come back to bite us. I want us to be aware, but I don't want us to be consumed. Because at this point, these things have all been going on in this country that they say is not a racist country. But when you see these things and this person being engrossed and ingrained with people in the government, which has always happened, but at this point, at this time, in this moment, should raise alarm. Should raise alarm. And as much as people don't want to say, well, no, they can't do this, they can't do that, I got a straight talk segment that I want to talk about. And we're going to get into that right now. Let's go. Straight talk, straight talk, straight talk. Let's get into this straight talk real quick. I want to give this as eloquently and as impactful as I can. And I may step on some toes today, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't. Raymond Hunter, him, the PragerU guys, Rush Limbaugh will not live on. They will die off like any lie. This is especially true with the rise of agnostic and atheists. I get you. And I'm glad you said all that because I got something I want to put out there. And last week, I talked about, as I said, I'm pro-black, but not anti-white. And it leads into what I want to talk about today, because now in this straight talk segment, with everything I just told you about this guy, Douglas Wilson, and that pastor of the mega church that got 6 months, only 6 months for raping a 12-year-old child when he was like 21 and all these things, and he tried to pay her off and everything. I didn't get all the details in that because I didn't want to read all that. We just know he only got 6 months for the crimes that he did. But let's go here for a minute. And today I want to talk to those that don't look like me, the white community. Just bear with me. I want to talk to the white community. Black folks, I want y'all to listen. But I really want the white folks in the back to really hear what I have to say here. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? For years we heard black folks need to fix their communities. Why don't you do something about the violence in Chicago? Take responsibility for your own people. Pull yourselves up by the bootstraps. Do everything that we've done to make ourselves accomplished in this country. There is no racism. Whoa. What are you going to do? Because you said it like it was our problem. Our problems were yours to critique, but never yours to help solve. They were never your problems to help solve because it was only in the black community where these things are going on. And when he had crime and stuff that was out in the suburbs and everything, that's because we left the community that we were in to come out there, rob you, and then go back. That was the mindset. That was the mindset. You said it like our pain was a threat to your comfort when we talk about the things we go through in this country. You said it like you were outside of it all, watching from a safe distance, like you're watching a video game. But now, and in the past, but right now, the threat is coming from inside your own house. White Christian nationalism, rising hate, mass shootings, racist manifestos, democratic domestic terrorism. This all in your house. This is all coming from inside your house. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? It's not coming from the margins. It's coming from your neighbors, your churches, your schools, your family dinners. It's being whispered in your living rooms and shouted in your rallies. So now I'm going to ask you. We all ask. What you going to do? What are you going to do about the white boys radicalized online? What are you going to do about the politicians who wink at hate? What are you going to do about the silence that protects the violence? You know, the complexion for the protection. What are you going to do? Are you going to call it out at the dinner table? Are you going to challenge your coworkers when they go out of line and talk about somebody that you say you're friends with? Are you going to correct that on the spot? Or are you going to vote like lives depend on it? Because they do. Oh, yes, they do. This isn't just about a black problem. I couldn't even get it out of my mouth. This isn't just about a black problem anymore, y'all. It never was. It never was a black problem. It's been an American problem from day one. From the day of July 4th, 1776, it's been an American problem. But y'all didn't see it. Because you chose to overlook it because it wasn't happening to you. But now, with this white Christian nationalism, what you gonna do? You gonna sit silent? You gonna get involved? You gonna push back? Or are you gonna join? Choose wisely. White folks, this one's on you. This is on you. This ain't our problem no more. Our problem is what the ramifications may be if these people are able to do what they want to do. But the onus is on you this time. If you say that you have black friends, if you say you're an ally, not a lie, what are you going to do? I'm all ears. Chime in. Because I see so many people that wanted to chime in when things about Chicago or when we did the protests about George Floyd and all these different things. There was all kinds of people chiming in, talking about the black community. When drugs was going on, when the crack epidemic was going on, y'all was chiming in. I didn't hear none of y'all chiming in when that opioid epidemic was going on in West Virginia about how bad it was and who was affected. Because they were getting help. But you chimed in on the crack epidemic because those people were not getting help. They were getting sentences because that's what you felt they deserved. Don't make me go down this road because I'm not doing comparisons. I'm doing facts, which is what we do here on Straight Talk on the Speak On the Show. So you can't spit in my face and tell me it's raining no more. Not that I allowed it before, but sometimes I gave you the benefit of the doubt. Not after reading this about this white Christian nationalist movement. See, because y'all got us, and this is where we get so caught up over there and looking over there that y'all doing stuff over here we ain't know nothing about. And when I say y'all, I ain't talking about all y'all. But the ones that are involved, y'all know some of them. But you sit quietly. You don't say nothing. Some of them in your family, some of them in your church, some of them in your jobs. Hell, some of them at your dinner table. But you ain't doing nothing. But when the young black men in the community walking around with the pants sagging, y'all telling us, fix that. Tell them pull the pants up. When Bill Cosby sat on the stage and said what he had to say about these young men and all that, y'all applauded. Yeah, Bill, tell them the community needs to fix that. Well, now I'm going to say what Bill Cosby said to you. Tell these people to get themselves together and stop being a threat to our livelihood. What you gonna do? You gonna sit quietly? You gonna act like you didn't hear me? And I'm gonna send this out specifically to the ones who say that I'm a friend. If you say I'm a friend, what you gonna do? If you can DM me all these other different things to push back on anything I said, send me a DM and tell me what you gonna do. Chime in on here today and tell me what you gonna do. Because I said what I said. This ain't our fight no more. This is your fight. Because the bottom line is this is not only going to affect black folks, it's going to affect white folks who are not white Christian nationalists. What you going to do? Are you going to push back? Or are you going to say this ain't my fight like you always do? See, I don't come on here to try to step on toes. I don't come on here to try to tell you to choose sides. I come on here to give you facts. And the fact of the matter is, it's time for y'all to get off the sidelines like you expected us to get off the sidelines when y'all were telling us the things that are going on in our communities was ours to fix. When in our communities, it was ours to fix because the fix could never happen because you chose not to give us the resources to fix our communities at the time. But it was our problem. So now, the onus is on you. All you. What you gonna do? We're watching. We're waiting. And we're wondering if you're gonna show up like you told us we should do. This ain't new. This ain't new. In 1865, the KKK was founded by ex-Confederates to terrorize free black people and restore white dominance. In 1925, the Klan marched 30,000 strong down Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., not in secret, but in daylight. In 1954, after Brown versus Board of Education, white citizens' councils formed to resist integration, respectively, faces masking violent intent. In 1980, Ronald Reagan launched his campaign in Philadelphia, Mississippi, the same town where 3 civil rights workers were murdered in 1964. That wasn't coincidence, that was signaling. In 2017, white nationalists chanted Jews would not replace us in Charlottesville. One of them murdered Heather Heyer. In 2022, a white supremacist drove hours to Buffalo to kill black people in the grocery store. He live streamed it. He wrote a manifesto. He was radicalized online. This isn't about lone wolves anymore, y'all. This ain't about lone wolves no more. This is about a pack, a culture. And as we've always said, a system. The system that has never been dismantled. Hasn't been dismantled. It's been rebranded. It's been rebranded. So I'm going to ask this last time. What you going to do? For all y'all up there in the back, in the cheap seats, what you going to do? I'll wait. I got time. Oh, I got time. I got plenty of time. But let me know. I'm all ears. Give me the solutions. Give me how you're going to stand up. How you going to approach these people. Because I noticed at a lot of these events that go on where they have these white supremacist mindset people doing their marches and everything, the only people out there, the majority of the people out there pushing back is us. It's us. And I'm going to say this, I think it's time for us to let them march. This may sound crazy, but let them march. If it's in our community, stop them from marching there. But if let them march. Just like we pushed those 2 off the campus of Tennessee State University that came there and put up a table with their MAGA hats on, and we pushed them out of there. What you coming in our community to do this for? You ain't never came on a HBCU campus do this for. Why you doing it now? Oh, because the one that used to do it on white campuses is unalived. So now you want to spread it on our campuses to try to make a point or to show that you can go anywhere that you want to go and protest about anything you want to and there's no repercussions. Is that what this is about? Raymond Hunter, all after Reconstruction with 13, 14, 15 members, if endorsed, the Klan would not exist. Michael Jackson said it best. All I really know is they don't really care about us. Go listen to the song. I can't remember the name of the song off the top of my head, but you know what I'm talking about. He went down and broke it all down. If I find it, I'll put it up on my page. But I don't want to end this on this note. Let's get into the mind, body, and soul. No, this is going to be a coach's corner. I'm just going to go into the coach's corner. It's going to be a coach's corner for y'all today. Let's do the coach's corner. I want to present this in a way, after all that, I want to present this in a way that it's going to be something helpful for all of you. And it goes along with what I was telling, the white folks of getting involved, what you're going to do now and everything. But this goes across the board for everybody. And in this coach's corner today, I have this wrote down and it says, stop testing the water. And this goes in life, business, everything that you may want to accomplish in your life. Stop testing the water. I want you to go all in. And let me tell you why I say this. You're not here to test the temperature. You're here to change the climate. This is not a comfort check. This is a legacy move. If you're not all in, what's holding you back? What is holding you back from going all in? Stop testing the water. And when I say stop testing the water, let's talk about the toe test. Everybody know the toe test. You know the one you ease up to the tub when you was a kid, or even the swimming pool. You ease up there and you dip a big toe in and wait to see if it's too hot or it's too cold. Can I handle it? Do I want to? That's what we do in life. In a lot of cases, we got to test the waters before we make a decision. And sometimes testing the waters holding us back from just, as Nike says, just do it. Because in a lot of cases, when we test the water, what happens is once we get to the point where we feel we got to test the water, that brings doubt. It brings doubt and it starts making you think differently than you did when you said, I got a plan and I know what I want to do. Simply because you chose to stick a toe in that water, your whole mindset changed. Because before you stuck your toe in the water, you ran that water, you got your towel, you got prepared to get in that tub and take you a nice relaxing bath. But once your toe hit that water, something changed. Something changed in your thinking, because now it's either too hot or too cold. So you can't get in there and relax, even though your mindset was to relax. Now your mindset's changed because it's not right. The atmosphere, the temperature is not right. We do that in life so often that we always have a plan of what we want to do. But then one little obstacle comes up or something doesn't feel right, or that toe test ain't working. And it changes our whole direction of what we were planning to do. Why are we waiting for things to be in a certain position, or we got to get our finances right, or I got to make sure this is in line, or I'll do it next week? Or let's just take, for example, working out, losing weight, changing your diet. After the doctor tells you, hey, A1C is a little high, man, what you going to do? Why am I kicking the can down the road? Say, you know what, I'm going to start on October 1st. She told me September 24th. Why am I waiting till October 1st? Stop putting off things today because the atmosphere may not seem comfortable for what you want to do. Stop doing the toe test for everything in life that you want to accomplish. I'm not telling you to go out here without a plan, but don't change the whole plan just because the water was too hot or too cold. Don't change the whole plan because you may need another $50 or pivot. We talked about this. Pivot. Make the decisions to not change the whole plan, but pivot the plan to fit the circumstances that you're talking about at that time. Our lives are too short, and I hate to say it that way, but our lives are too short to continue not starting because, as I mentioned, the water's too hot or too cold. The temperature's just not right for me to start today. Think about this. When you were a kid, did you worry about whether it was raining outside or it was going to rain? Let's just think this. And nowadays, as we get older, we start checking the temperature each day. When we was kids, we walked outside to find out what the temperature was. It didn't stop us from going out, even if it was raining. We were living. We put so many variables on the things we want to do of, well, it's going to rain today, so I got a chance to plan this, or they're talking about it's going to be cold. Let me make sure I wear a sweater today and all these kind of things. I'm not saying that those things aren't important. What I'm saying is stop letting them block your progress in what you're trying to do. Put the water test to the side, whether it's too hot, too cold. Get in the damn tub. And I say get in the damn tub because I want you to get in this thing called life. Stop testing everything to see if it's the right conditions and just do it. What's holding you back? If you sit back and think about it, 9 times out of 10, the things that are holding you back are easily overcome. But you use it as a crutch to say, I'll do it tomorrow. No, it's not worth it. Get out your own way. Stop putting things off. Stop doing that damn water test. You probably ain't took a bath in years any damn way. You take showers. Even with the shower. You turn the shower on and you walk away, and by the time you come back, you get in, you're good to go. You ain't worrying about that. Just don't get in the shower after a woman. Excuse me, y'all. I just want to say, don't get in the shower after a woman and not adjust that now, because you're going to burn yourself up as a man. I'm just saying. I digress, but I'm saying. I'm sorry. Women like showers. I don't know what that's about. That's for another conversation. But I'm strictly simply telling you, stop testing the waters and making decisions that because the water doesn't feel right now, that you put it off until the next day. Because guess what? No matter how many times you run that bath water, it's either going to be too hot or too cold. Never once do I remember me running bath water and it being exactly what it needs to be when I got ready to get in. Stop. If we keep doing that in life, you'll never accomplish what you need to accomplish. Just want to put that out there for you today. Stop testing the water. Get out and do what you want to do. I appreciate everybody tuning in today at Ambush. Hey, my brother, I appreciate you tuning in. I needed to hear this. Appreciate it, bro. I'm glad I could help, man. Glad I could help. Appreciate it. Long time no hear, too. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I'll be back again next week. And look, everything I talk about in this show, given from facts. It's what I know, life experiences, articles that I've read. But one thing that I will tell you, if you're in that zone right now, as a man, because we go through things as a man, and you're struggling with something, the book I mentioned in the beginning, The Man, the Moment Demands by Jason Wilson. I ain't getting no money for plugging this. I'm just telling you, it's been beneficial to me. It can be beneficial to you. Master the 10 characteristics of the comprehensive man. Can't go wrong. The Man, the Moment Demands. Pick it up, read it. You know, it might help you, but it might give you some insight. Buy it for your sons. Buy it for your sons, grandsons, anybody. Ladies, get it for a Christmas gift or something. I don't know. But it's a good book. All right. I'll see y'all. Excuse me. I'll be back again next week. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I love y'all, and I'm out. As I always say before I sign off, love yourself, love one another, keep your head up, and most definitely, keep your faith in God. I love y'all, and I'm out. See y'all next week. Peace.